Mahrez holding his Chelsea in the Champions League final. The headline has been written.
Hello and welcome to the V2 Football Podcast. I'm Chris Lappin and joining me this today I've got Shane Lewis.
Hello.
Anthony Kendrick.
Good evening.
And Richard Hare Hudson.
Good evening.
So this week we'll be selecting our Premier League 11 of the season so far. So firstly, thanks for everyone who's sent in their 11s. We'll be revealing the results from the listeners as we go along. So we'll start with the defensive side of things. So in goal, I've gone with Jack Butland.
I think it's hard to argue with that. De Gea's been in good form since coming back to United. I like Begovic at Chelsea as well, but I think Butland's quite clearly the...
No, I wouldn't say so.
No?
I would say it's Hart. Joe Hart has been the best and most consistent keeper so far. Let me put it this way, if Jack Butland wasn't young and English, we wouldn't be talking about him as being the best goalkeeper so far.
I think Jack Butland won...
Isn't Joe Hart quite young and English as well?
Yeah, but he has actually genuinely been the best keeper so far. He hasn't done anything like special or amazing, but he's been the best keeper for his team.
Yeah, Jack Butland's won his team more points than Joe Hart has for City this season.
I wouldn't say so. Have you seen how bad City's defence has been this year? Stoke have a solid team in front of them. I think that's the difference. Man City need Joe Hart a lot more than Stoke need Jack Butland, I'd say. And I'd say he's been better so far. I'll stick with my original point. If Jack Butland wasn't young and English and we were all sort of getting a bit hyped about him, we wouldn't be saying his name right now. If his name was Jaxi Botlandi, he was Italian, we'd be going, yeah, he's a pretty good keeper, but we'd be mentioning him in the same sentence as Pantamillion.
I'm sure I read somewhere that I say it's a shot ratio is like over 80%. And he earned...
I know Pantilimon was, if Shane's on about him. Last season he had the best shots to save ratio.
Yeah, Pantilimon was good, but no one was turning around and saying he was the best keeper in the league. I like Jack Butland. I think he has a big future in the England squad, but I don't think he's been the best keeper so far. I think people have got a bit ahead of themselves with that one. And I think Joe Hart has been not just the best English keeper, but the best keeper so far and the most consistent. He hasn't made any major mistakes apart from the Cameron Jerome one, and that was just bad luck, and it luckily didn't end up costing his team the points. So I'd say he's been the best keeper so far.
I'd have Hart as third.
I'd agree with you on Jack Butland being overrated because he's young and English. If I wasn't to have Butland personally, I'd say Begovic. He's done a really good job with.
I will say Begovic has done a great job at Chelsea. For all the crap Chelsea have been going through, he's been very good for them.
I'm surprised Courtois gone straight back into the side to Begovic.
I'd throw Czech in the ring.
Yeah, Czech's been good, but I don't think Arsenal really depended on him. Like, for all the people saying he'd make a big difference at Arsenal, I don't think it's been that noticeable so far.
No, I think he has, because like you look at certainly Arsenal are now the main rivals to City for the title, excluding obviously Leicester who are there at the moment. But and I think he's part of that reason.
I'd say that's more down to most other teams going backwards more than anything.
There's a lot of teams going backwards, but they're going forwards.
Okay, now I can see your point.
He was the piece that they needed.
Yeah, okay,
and
I'll
he's
agree
done
with
the job that he was required to do.
Right, so can we go for a consensus or not?
I don't think so. I'm sticking with Hart.
Well, I'll go Butland as well.
I'll say Butland.
Butland, okay.
Just going with a trend, guys.
Right back, I went with Hector Bellerin.
I went with someone I reckon no one else has gone with. I went with Alan Yom at Watford.
He's done very well on fantasy football.
He has been, but they have one of the best defences so far this season, and he is one of the main reasons for it. He hasn't missed a single game, and he has been up and down. He's been everything you'd want from a right back, just missed the consistency. That's what you want from a right back. Yes, it's always great to have right backs like Bellerin who get forward, who put in the defining passes, the big crosses. But sometimes you want someone who's just more well-rounded, consistent every single game, does his job every single game to a very high level as well, and is a big reason for why they've had such a good defence. For Arsenal, he gets his name in the papers more because he runs very quickly and he gets some nice assists because they play some really nice football. But for a team like Watford to have a right back who's doing that well, I think that's a bigger deal.
I think Bellerin's done well since coming in. I think it's hard with Neom. It's hard with the promoted sides to, it's hard with Watford to rate their right back as. I don't think he's been integral to their success. But having said that, there's not a right back I can think of where you think, yeah, they've really stood out this year. I think I'd probably go for Bellerin, but I'd also say that Darmian and Klein have both done good jobs signing for their new clubs this season.
I'd say you have a point with Bellerin, but with Darmian and Klein, I'd say they've both been average at best. I would say they've done nothing particularly special, and I like Nathaniel Klein, even though he's left us, I still like him. But I'd say they've been average.
No, I think they've both done good jobs. I'm not saying they've been outstanding, but they've done good jobs. I'll appease you and say Cedric Suarez I really like.
No, I don't think he's not been that good. He hasn't played that many games. He's good going forward. He's not that good defensively.
Before he joined Southampton.
The reason I think Alan Nyom probably deserves the credit is because, one, he won't get the credit anyway, and two, he has actually been a major part of that defence, and that defence has put Watford into, 6th place? This is Watford we're talking about. And I think when you have a player at right back who can be that consistent for you, it's very, very hard to find. Even if you've got players like Bellerin who are great going forward, they don't offer you the same protection. And Nyom, he does a bit of everything. He's good in the air, he's good defensively, he's good going forward, he's good at passing. And I think when you're looking for a right back, you're looking for a complete kind of player. And I think he's been the best complete kind of fullback in the league so far.
I am going to agree with Shane on this one. I think Bellerin is going to obviously be a much bigger star.
Yeah.
And I can see Bellerin being a proper worldie in a couple of years. But yeah, I'm going with Nyom.
What do you think, Ant?
I would probably say Bellerin, or if not, probably Klein. But it's a difficult. Bellerin, I'll say, but it's a very difficult call to make.
Go with Nyom then.
Well, majority wins this time. Nyom. Also, his name sounds brilliant. It sounds like food. Nyom, 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 nyom.
Will we, any of us, disagree with Smalling as one of us?
No, I've got him in mind.
Yeah, I've got Smalling.
Is there anything we can really say about him?
Well, I mean, you can knock how United have been playing all you want. When you have a defender who is playing as well as Chris Smalling, you can't knock that. Yeah. Even if they're playing boring, terrible,
is he the one shining light of the Van Gaal era?
I would say there's two, and there's one I'll mention later on. But I would say he is probably the big one. Because his rate of improvement as well is ridiculous. For a player his age, players of his age, I think he's 25, 26, they normally start, that's when they're about averaging out. That's when they've hit their peak and they're not going to improve. He just keeps getting better. And I think, I said it a few weeks ago, I said I think he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. I'd say he's top 5, and I stick with that. He is that good at the moment.
He has been brilliant all season. I don't think anyone's going to put up any serious argument to him being in the team.
Smalling's a shoehorn in. If anybody disagrees with them, then they're getting my toe at the bum.
Right, partner him, I've gone for Scott Dan.
I've gone for Scott Dan too, actually.
I'm 50-50 between Dan and Alderweireld.
The guy's got to go through, but I can't pronounce his name.
Alderweireld.
Shane, you're the expert.
Yeah, it's Alderweireld.
It's difficult on the centre-back position because there's been quite a few good performers. I'd say Smalling's partner for most of the season, Blind's had a good season. I'd say the two Tottenham centre-backs, Shawcross as well, when he's played for Stoke's, been generally quite good.
Koscielny's usually pretty solid for Arsenal.
Yeah, Koscielny, he's been, when Arsenal, particularly when they miss him, it's very, very noticeable. And I'd say it's the same with Shawcross at Stoke, but I think for the level of sort of consistency you're looking at in performances, for his leadership qualities, and for the fact he's even chipping in the set pieces, scoring big goals at big times, I think Scott Dan's a shoo-in for that. Alderweireld has been good, but he's been a good part of a whole team, whereas Scott Dan has been an absolutely outstanding centre-back for Palace, and he's one of the reasons they've been able to play the good football they've been playing.
But then being part of a good team is what makes him more of a candidate for me. I would say if the whole defence is performing well and you're a big part of that, then surely that should make him more.
And you've got to think as well with that Spurs defence, it's pretty much a new defence altogether there. So to line up all together there straight away to I can't think of the word for it, but for him to then be so good straight away off the bat, I'm going for him.
Well, I can see the point you're making, but for me, Scott Dann has been outstanding in his own right, whereas Alderweireld, it's a bit like where he was at with Southampton. The players around him have made him look better and made him play better. At Southampton, he depended on Jose Font to do all the organising and all that sort of stuff, so he could go out and do his good defensive work, his good ball playing work. And it's the same sort of situation, I think, at Tottenham. But Scott Dann, I think, in his own right, has been absolutely amazing. Whereas, and I think if we're picking an individual for this spot, it has to go to Scott Dann. If we were trying to pick it in a greater team, like a fantasy football style, then I would say probably Alderweireld. But as an individual, I think it has to go to Scott Dann.
Let's see, we go with Scott Dann. Left back, I've gone for Monreal.
Oh, wow, yeah, me too.
I've gone Kolarov.
I had him as a very, very close second.
Kolarov had a really good start to the season, but with Company going and the whole defence has been wrecked, it's now difficult to say.
Well, I think the thing is, and as the point I was making with Nyom, with fullbacks you want consistency, and Kolarov, as much as he has the outstanding games, as much as he can score goals, he's too hot and cold. He has really good games, and he has really bad games. Whereas with Monreal, he's just been going along. He's not a big name, Monreal. I don't think he really gets into the Spain first team much, does he? But the level he's played at has just been at a very... It's sort of like an 8 out of 10 every game, whereas Kolarov goes between 9s and 6s. So I think on that basis, I'd have to say Monreal.
I think Danny Rose has been good as well for Spurs, another key part of that team. Someone I didn't really rate until this season, but I have to agree with Monreal.
So we'll go with Monreal. Right, so our defence is Butland, Yom, Smalling, Dan and Monreal. The listeners and forum members went for Butland, Klein, Smalling, Shawcross and Rose.
Oh, they're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong. We've already agreed. They're wrong. Sorry, listeners, you're wrong.
Alright, so it's time for our game of Mastermind. So over to Quizmaster, Richard Hayward Hudson.
I'm sure there'll be no controversy in this either.
Did we go for 4-3-3 or 4-4-2?
That's what I was going to ask. Do you want to go 4-2 or do you want to go 3?
My list is 4-4-2. So
the thing is some players you could consider midfielders or attackers. So
I feel mine works.
It seems to be the argument is Mahrez.
Yeah, it's working. You put Mahrez.
He's in the team wherever he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
Has to be.
Okay, so should we start with right mids in 4-4-2 and we'll work it out later?
Well, I've gone Payet.
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 He's brilliant for West Ham.
West Ham player. I reckon he's probably one of the signers season. So
which position are we putting him in?
Midfield.
Midfield.
Generic midfield.
Well, you just play 4 midfielders, don't you? You don't really.
Did anyone here do 3 midfielders?
I did a 4-3-3.
I've done 3 midfielders, then Mahrez, and then 2 attackers.
Okay, right.
I've not really thought about a balanced side though. I've just done 3 midfielders, 3 attackers, and
Yeah,
okay.
so have
I didn't. Well, personally, Payet, I think it's the same situation as Kolarov. He's had very, very good games, and by and large, he's been better than all the other West Ham players. But at the same time, he's just gone. People forget he's gone completely missing in games. There's a lot of games this season where West Ham have, they've lost or they've drawn, and he's just barely even been a part of it. And so for me, I'm not. If you're like getting into sort of a team of a season or a team of half a season, it's about consistency. It's about if you're performing to that 8 out of 10 level in every single game. And I don't think Payet's done that. I think he's had a few games where he's 10 out of 10, no questions. But there's too many games where he's just drifting out of it.
Okay, so what about Ozil? Is he a definite?
I'd certainly have Ozil in there.
I'd have Ozil. He's got a ridiculous number of assists this season, and he's just been all round. He seems to be rated all of a sudden. Last season I thought he was really good, but this season he's been probably the best midfielder in the Premier League.
See, I didn't include him. Yeah,
I think he's improved with Cazorla going deeper.
Yeah,
they always seemed to be sort of getting in each other's way when they were both in that sort of attacking midfield role, and Ozil was often being shoved out to the side, and now Cazorla's moved further back. It seems that Ozil's got a lease of life again. That he's back to the Real Madrid player.
See, I didn't include him. And it isn't because I'm detracting away from him. It's simply because I think there are other midfield players who have been better so far. That's it. I can't fault anyone's reasoning for putting Ozil in. I just think there are other players who've been better. That's all I can really say on that one. I'll say my one because I don't think anyone else is going to put him in. Danny Drinkwater.
Ooh.
He has been good.
He has been class. He gets so missed because when people were watching Leicester, they're thinking about, Mahrez, and they're thinking about Vardy. Occasionally they're looking at Schmeichel. But Danny Drinkwater in the middle has just been a metronome, and he's been a machine. He's got the work rate, he's got the passing range, he's got the tackling, he can mark, he concentrates, he can counter at speed, and he's strong in the tackle. I think he's got everything that a midfielder wants, and he's been in as good a form in midfield as Jamie Vardy has been up front, or Riyad Mahrez has been out wide, I think. But because he's a midfielder, obviously he's not scoring that many goals, he's not getting that many assists, not in central midfield anyway. So I think he's been a bit overlooked, but I think he has been absolutely top class this season.
Well, quite a popular opinion was to put Kante in, and I think a lot of that was because he was analysed on Match of the Day the other day. Genuinely, I think that was people. I think suddenly because people have noticed him because of Match of the Day, he's been noticed more. But Danny Drinkwater has been for me just as good. But I didn't include either of those two in my team.
I can't remember which one it was. Was it N'Golo Kante or Idrissa Gueye in the French league who had like the best tackling rate in the world? Defensive.
Gueye was like really good in the French league.
Yeah, it was one of them too.
I wasn't aware of Kante before now. Well, before he lasted, to be honest.
My four, I'll roll through them. Mahrez, Ozil, Barkley, and De Bruyne.
Okay, yeah, I've got De Bruyne in as well because... And I'll talk about De Bruyne quickly because I think if you compare him to Raheem Sterling,
yeah,
and this is the thing, I'm not actually going to take away from Raheem Sterling because I think Raheem Sterling's been good, but they both cost about £50 million, and I think Raheem Sterling's been good for a winger. He's scored about the amount of goals you'd expect, he's got the amount of assists, but then you look at De Bruyne, same amount of money, not dissimilar position, and he is an absolute monster, isn't he?
He's been an absolute revelation.
Scoring the goals he scored, the build-up play, all of it, it's ridiculous. And like, even though I'm saying Raheem Sterling's been good, like you compare the two, both going to the same club at the same time, both costing around the same amount of money. It's the difference between prospect and genuine world class. I think, and he has been incredible. He's been like Yaya Toure was a few seasons ago when he was just absolutely smashing them in for fun.
I don't think anyone can argue De Bruyne is in the team.
I've put Balassi in as well.
Don't keep adding people. We need to... De Bruyne. Right. So we've got Ozil, Mahrez, De Bruyne, and you need one more.
I went Barkley for my fourth.
No way.
No
chance. Come on. Barkley, it's the same situation as Kolarov. Again, it's hot and cold. He's had very good games, but he's drifted in and out of them as well.
I think he has been an improvement though on previous seasons. He has improved.
Definitely.
I won't include him myself, but he has been good. He has had his moments. Like
I'll have to rush on this last person because we're running out of time.
I do think that it's the same situation as though he's young and English, and so we're really wanting him to do well. We're willing him to be that good. But if his name was Rossio Barclinio, we'd be saying, oh, he is pretty good, but he just isn't doing it enough, is he? He's a bit inconsistent. And I think he is inconsistent, and that's what I think is holding him back at the moment.
So should we get... All right, so I'll just ask... So without a Poyet, Drinkwater and Barkley, who do you want to go?
Drinkwater.
Out of who, sorry?
Payet.
I'd have Payet myself.
Yeah, I will.
Drinkwater.
Who are we going for?
Payet.
No.
Payet.
Drinkwater.
Payet. Payet. Okay.
You people just aren't thirsty enough.
All right, so then up front, is anyone going to argue with Vardy?
No.
He's having a party.
Ridiculous form. Ridiculous. How the hell did such an unknown player become so suddenly, randomly amazing? How does that happen? How does a player improve that much since scoring against Man United to where he is now?
You'll have to remind you every week that you used to play for non-league until you're 26.
Well, yeah, and people are saying, "Oh, we don't need to hear that every single time." Bloody hell! That's a ridiculous story. That is literally Roy Rovers stuff. And it's just incredible. It doesn't happen in real life, and it is. And you got Leicester top of the bloody league, and Jamie Vardy for what is he, like 28, 29 striker who's come from absolutely nowhere to be the top scorer in the Premier League. That is incredible. That's
I'd
bigger
say
than
to
Harry
a lesser
Kane.
degree, it did happen a few years ago with your own club.
Or Southampton.
Yeah, with Ricky Lambert.
Well, no, that's not quite as big a one because Ricky Lambert was obviously a Liverpool youngster first.
Well, yeah, but he played at like the level of
Played
MacTown.
at for years, didn't he? Then he played.
He played at Stockport, he played at MacTown for several years.
Oh yeah, but it's not quite the same scale as Jamie Vardy. I think Lambert is the sort of same scale as Charlie Austin. They started at the top and they ended up having to go back down to the bottom to build up again. Whereas Jamie Vardy started at the bottom, stayed there for most of his time, and all of a sudden springboards into success.
Ian Wright, there you go.
Ian Wright, that's a good example. Yeah, Ian Wright.
That's a partner in him. I've gone for Lukaku.
Yeah.
Mine was one of two. Lukaku, certainly. I'm also fancying, well, I'm not fancying in a Nick way, but who I think has been very good for them up front and isn't getting the plaudits he should, but Giroud.
Giroud.
Oh, Giroud's a good shout. He has been very good for us.
He's been good, but I think it's simply a case that Lukaku has been better.
I think Lukaku, if you want to say about having good games and bad games, I think Lukaku in the last 6 or 7 games has come into his own, but had a poor start to the season.
The thing I think with Lukaku is, and this is where it's different to Giroud, with Arsenal, if they don't have Giroud, they still have like attacking intent. When Everton don't have Lukaku, all of a sudden it's like they just want to pass until they get an open goal. When they have Lukaku, he picks that team up and he just drags them forward into the box and gets the shot off. He gets the other players involved. He holds up the ball.
I think Tom Brady showed
he makes a passing team into an attacking team, and that I think is the major difference. Arsenal are already an attacking team with or without Giroud.
Yeah, but Arsenal have always been an attacking team that then try and pass the ball into the goal.
And they still do that with Giroud, though. With Lukaku, I think he's turned that Everton attack into something that is sort of always a bit restrained, into something that is just explosive.
Giroud's got the most headers in the period he's been in the Premier League. They do change their playing style to suit Giroud. There's more crosses coming in and etc. I think that tells it all, really. But my choice was neither of them. It was Igalo of Watford.
Yeah, he's been very good. I don't think he's been at the level of Lukaku or Giroud. I had one which no one else is going to agree with, but I put him in here anyway. Walters at Stoke.
That's a strange selection.
I put him in there as like an honourable mention rather than actually putting him in the
How many has he scored?
I think he's only scored
What
a
about
couple.
one of the other Stokes? What about like Bojan or Arnautovic?
Well, a lot of the Stoke players have been quite good, but I think Walters simply for the fact that he is in no way a Premier League footballer, yet at the same time he's actually probably one of the most consistent strikers in the league. He isn't always scoring the goals, but he's always there, and he's always, he's not an 8 out of 10, he's a 7 out of 10, but he's always doing it.
So are we settling on Lukaku? Or...
I'd be happy to settle on him, but I think that Giroud should get a
honourable mention.
An honourable mention.
Can I put another one up? Well, I've got 3 I want to do for honourable mentions.
Yeah.
Time.
Yes, we do. Craig Cathcart at Watford.
Yeah.
For centre-back, because he's one of those players who's been up and down the leagues, but for Watford he has been outstanding.
Former United as well.
Yeah, another example, Joe Ledley has been very, very good in Crystal Palace's midfield. I think he started every single game this season.
I did want to mention Kabay.
Yeah, and the last one, I think 2, or at least probably 3 people are going to disagree with me here. Fellaini.
Get out.
You can hate the style of play Man United are playing, but Fellaini can only play the kind of football he's being told to play.
When you see him
Right, okay, yeah. It's the style of football is absolutely dreadful, but Fellaini can only do the job he's being told to do by the manager. And that job he's being told to do, he does it to a very high degree. Man United would be a lot worse off, I'd say, if they didn't have Fellaini. I know it's saying something about Man United's style of football, but...
When the answer, though, is Fellaini, then you're asking the really
yes,
wrong question.
you're asking the wrong questions, but Fellaini, like I said, he can only do the job he's being told to do. And the job he's being told to do, he's doing it really well. I think he deserves a mention.
I think Fellaini was better in the final third of last season than he has been this season.
Yeah, because he was absolutely amazing in that final third. But he's been very, very good.
Wise, though, I would put Maturin over Fellaini, who gets stuck out on the right wing. Not his best position at all. But he's still the top scorer currently for United.
I think Matt's best position is on the right rather than attacking mid, but I think that's a whole other argument for another day.
We're getting a bit distracted now. We're just talking about United.
Someone, I just want to quickly mention Johan Cabaye, who's been brilliant for Palace. Well, we haven't said.
The one I was going to mention was Ayew at Swansea.
Ayew?
Yeah.
He was decent in like the first 5 games, but he's been dross since then. He has been shocking. I know, I've had him in my fantasy team. I forgot to take him out since week 1. He's been shit. What are you on?
Right, so the listeners went, their front 6 was Mahrez, Ozil, Barkley, Vardy, Lukaku, and I can't pronounce the guy from Watford.
Igalo?
Igalo?
Igalo.
So our team of the midway point is Butland.
Team of the midway point, that's so catchy.
Smalling, Dan, Monreal, Ozil, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Payet, Vardy, and Lukaku.
It's not far off my fantasy team, actually.
It's pretty far from my fantasy team. My own shit.
How many people had Mahrez and Vardy in their fantasy team when they were setting it up before the season started?
I had Mahrez.
I had Mahrez from the start.
Yeah. I think I had Vardy. I didn't have Mahrez, so I put Mahrez.
Well, whoever's in mine now.
I think this week I only won because Erwin didn't have him as his captain, and I did. But anyway, so a wonderful Christmas present to us would you if you followed us at V2 Football.
That is just...
We've got a few of them following us.
That is cringe. Yeah, we've got like 6,000 bots trailing us.
Okay, Evan, I've brought in 6,000 followers because of my time, which you should all listen to as well, by the way.
I should say, if we do a follow back policy, so if we haven't followed you back this week, it's because we've had 6,000 bots, so we don't know who's a real person and who's not. So when they all suddenly delete their accounts next week, that's why we suddenly dropped in numbers.
Where did they come from? What do they want?
Okay, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
It's probably Sepp Blatter game revenge.
Yeah, he sees how much I slag him off.
So have a Merry Christmas. Good night.
Good night.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hello, this is Bianca Westwood from Gillette Soccer Saturday on Sky Sports, and you are listening to the V2 Football Podcast.